Okay, so good evening, everyone. So this time we're going to discuss about, of course, cloud computing in e-commerce perspective. So the advent of IBM personal computers and Apple computer in 1980s led global business use personal computers. Now, IT consists a comprehensive terms that includes all types of technology which are used to create, save, and exchange information. So IT continually brings significantly changes in businesses operation, and it has become an essential tool for all types of organization. So the benefits from the evolution of IT are innumerous, making globalization one of the most significant effects. And communication is easier, cheaper, and more efficient than ever before. And barriers of any linguistic and geographic boundaries have brought down. So as a result, companies have the chance to expand to new territories and acquire customers from all over the world. So efficiency and cost reduction can also be considered as effects of IT evolutions, since employees are able to store, retrieve, and analyze information efficiently, and also handle more tasks by automating routine processes. So the significant advances in IT over the last year have brought a new computing paradigm, which is known as cloud computing. And the origin of the name cloud computing, or is just cloud, is from the internet, which metaphorically is presented by a cloud. And cloud computing refers to the involvement of large numbers of computers which are connected through a real-time communication network. Okay, so cloud computing is believed by many experts to be the next big wave of IT in organizations, individuals, and even government. So this relatively new paradigm can be used by enterprise not to meet any of their technology demands. It gives the ability to organizations to get computing resources and applications from any point on earth through internet. Hardware, software, and data can reside in technology centers which are managed by third-party vendors. In addition to these benefits, cloud computing technologies can foster innovation and become the basis for new business models, offering also important improvements in collaboration and effectiveness of the companies that utilize them or utilizes them. It can additionally have a social impact by offering several benefits to healthcare and education system. So to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hello everyone, I'm Lexi Odelma. I'm going to report about the cloud computing. So now let's start. As introduction in cloud computing provides us a means by which we can access the application as utilities over the internet. It allows us to create, configure, and customize application online. With cloud computing, users can access database resource via the internet from anywhere for as long as they need without worrying about any maintenance or management of actual resource. Or in short, cloud computing is in internet storage, data storage. And then what is cloud? The term cloud refers to a network or internet. In other words, we can say that cloud is something which is present to remote location. Cloud can provide services over over network on a public networks or on private networks. The WAN or the wide area network, and then the LAN, the local area network, or VPN, the virtual private network. Some company uses this for the VPN for an additional security on their database. And then the applications such as email, web conferencing, customer relationship management, or CRM are all run in cloud. What is cloud computing? It refers to manipulating, configuring, and accessing the application online. It offers online data storage, infrastructure, and application. Cloud computing is both a combination of software and hardware based on computing resource delivered as network services. And this is the cloud computing architecture, just to give an idea on how clouds work. Parang visual representation lang. And then I'm going to share a video related to this topic for further understanding.
A small software development firm. Imagine you're the owner of a small
Can you hear na
software
po ba?
development firm and you want to scale your
Yes.
business up. However, a small team size, the unpredictability of demand, and limited resources are roadblocks for this expansion. That's when you hear about cloud computing. But before investing money into it, you decide to draw up the differences between on-premise and cloud-based computing to make a better decision. When it comes to scalability, you pay more for an on-premise setup and get lesser options too. Once you've scaled up, it is difficult to scale down and often leads to heavy losses in terms of infrastructure and maintenance costs. Cloud computing, on the other hand, allows you to pay only for how much you use, with much easier and faster provisions for scaling up or down. Next, let's talk about server storage. On-premise systems need a lot of space for their servers, notwithstanding the power and maintenance hassles that come with them. On the other hand, cloud computing solutions are offered by cloud service providers who manage and maintain the servers, saving you both money and space. Then we have data security. On-premise systems offer less data security, thanks to a complicated combination of physical and traditional IT security measures, whereas cloud computing systems offer much better security and lets you avoid having to constantly monitor and manage security protocols. In the event that a data loss does occur, the chance for data recovery with on-premise setups are very small. In contrast, cloud computing systems have robust disaster recovery measures in place to ensure faster and easier data recovery. Finally, we have maintenance. On-premises systems also require additional teams for hardware and software maintenance, loading up the costs by a considerable degree. Cloud computing systems, on the other hand, are maintained by the cloud service providers, reducing your costs and resource allocation substantially. So now, thinking that cloud computing is a better option, you decide to take a closer look at what exactly cloud computing is. Cloud computing refers to the delivery of on-demand computing services over the internet on a pay-as-you-go basis. In simpler words, rather than managing files and services on a local storage device, you'll be doing the same over the internet in a cost-efficient manner. Cloud computing has two types of models: deployment model and service model. There are three types of deployment models: public, private, and hybrid cloud. Imagine you're traveling to work. You've got three options to choose from. One, you have buses, which represent public clouds. In this case, the cloud infrastructure is available to the public over the internet. These are owned by cloud service providers. Two, then you have the option of using your own car. This represents the private cloud. With the private cloud, the cloud infrastructure is exclusively operated by a single organization. This can be managed by the organization or a third party. And finally, you have the option to hail a cab. This represents the hybrid cloud. A hybrid cloud is a combination of the functionalities of both public and private clouds. Next, let's have a look at the service models. There are three major service models available: IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Compared to on-premise models, where you'll need to manage and maintain every component, including applications data, virtualization, and middleware, cloud computing service models are hassle-free. IaaS refers to infrastructure as a service. It is a cloud service model where users get access to basic computing infrastructure. They are commonly used by IT administrators. If your organization requires resources like storage or virtual machines, IaaS is the model for you. You'll only have to manage the data, runtime, middleware, applications, and the OS, while the rest is handled by the cloud providers. Next, we have PaaS. PaaS, or Platform as a Service, provides cloud platforms and runtime environments for developing, testing, and managing applications. This service model enables users to deploy applications without the need to acquire, manage, and maintain the related architecture. If your organization is in need of a platform for creating software applications, PaaS is the model for you. PaaS only requires you to handle the applications and the data. The rest of the components like runtime, middleware, operating systems, servers, storage, and others are handled by the cloud service providers. And finally, we have SaaS. SaaS, or Software as a Service, involves cloud services for hosting and managing your software applications. Software and hardware requirements are satisfied by the vendors, so you don't have to manage any of those aspects of the solution. If you'd rather not worry about the hassles of owning any IT equipment, the SaaS model would be the one to go with. With SaaS, the cloud service provider handles all components of the solution required by the organization. Time for a quiz now.
Before I proceed to the to my next slide, just to share I just wanted to share the history of cloud computing. Cloud infrastructure involves the hardware and software components required for proper implementation of a cloud computing model. Cloud computing can be also be tough as utility computing or on-demand computing. The name cloud computing was inspired by the cloud symbol that often used to represent the internet in flowchart and diagram. And the history and the evolution of cloud computing date back, it was started during 1950s and 1960s. In 1950s, companies started to use large mainframe computers, but it was too expensive to buy computer for each user. So during the late 1950s and 1960s, a process called time sharing was developed to make more efficient and use of expensive processor time on a central mainframe. So try to imagine na lang yung mga naabutan nating computer, 'di ba? From heavy na mga computer hanggang sa maging lightweight na yung mga ginagamit nating laptop and then yung mga desktop. And then during 1970s, cloud computing began taking more tangible shape with the introduction of first BMS, enabling users to run more than one computing system within a single physical setup. And then in the 1970s also and 1980s, Microsoft, Apple, and IBM developed technologies that enhanced the cloud environment and advanced the use of cloud server and server hosting. Then in 1999, Salesforce became the first company to deliver business application from the website. In 2006, Amazon launched the AWS, providing such service as computing and storage in the cloud, following the other major tech players, including Microsoft and Google, subsequently launched their own cloud offerings to complete AWS. So now let's proceed. Let's proceed to my next slide. Okay. Next, yung next topic ko, since napanood nyo naman dun kanina sa may video, is in-explain na lang. So, I will just, na lang agad. Explain ko na lang ulit. So, basic concept, there are certain service and models working behind the scene, making the cloud computing feasible and accessible to end users. Following our working models for cloud computing, we have two models, which is the deployment models and the service models. I'm going to first is the deployment models. Deployment models define the type of access to the cloud. Example nito, how the cloud is located. Cloud can have any four type of access. We have public, private, hybrid, and community. The public cloud allows system and services to be easily accessible to the general public. Public cloud can be less secure because of its openness. Example nito yung email. Since public cloud, prone siya sa mga hackers. So, yung mga data na sinishare natin dito is hindi ganun hindi ganun ka-safe. And then the private cloud allows us system and services to be accessible within an organization. It offers increased security because of its private nature. Normally, sa mga company, ginagamit yung VPN just to protect additional protection para hindi ma-access ni hacker yung mga restricted or yung mga prohibited data na ayaw nilang i-expose or for data privacy. Next is community cloud. Community cloud allows system and service to be accessible by the group or of organization. Ito naman yung mga collaboration within other company or with the third party. And then the hybrid, I think this is the most okay among the four kasi it's the mixture of public and private cloud. However, the critical activities are performed using private cloud while the non-critical activities are performed using the public cloud. The next is the service model. Service model are reference model on which the cloud computing is based. This can be categorized into three basic models are listed below. Yung first is yung ISaaS, yung infrastructure as a service, and then platform as a service or yung PaaS. Then last is the software as a service or yung SaaS. Infrastructure as a service is the delivery of technology infrastructure as an on-demand scalable service. ISaaS provides access to fundamental resources such as physical machine, machine, virtual storage, and etc. Usually built based on usage, kung ano lang yung nagamit na parang data subscription. And the next is usually multi-tenant virtualized environment, can be coupled with managed service for OS and application support. And then example of this is yung Telemark and TT Communication. Ito po yung mga example na to is yung mga sa US. Then next is the platform as a service, yung PaaS or PaaS, provides the runtime environment for application deployment tools, etc. PaaS provides all facilities required to support the complete life cycle of building and delivering web application and service entirely from the internet. Typical application must be developed with a particular platform in mind, multi-tenant environment, and highly scalable multi-tier architecture. And then example for this one is yung Amazon Web Service, Azure, Rackspace, and Salesforce, and etc. And then software as a service. SaaS model allows to use software application as a service to end users. It is a software delivery methodology that provides licensed multi-tenant access to software and its function remotely as a web-based service. Same ni ISaaS, usually build based on usage, usually multi-tenant environment, highly scalable architecture. And then the example for this one is yung NetSuite and then yung Google. SaaS is a distribution model that delivers software application over the internet. These applications are often called web service. User can access SaaS application and service from any location using a computer or mobile device that has internet access. In the SaaS model, users gain access to application software or and database. Okay, ito nga yung pinaka-recent na best example na to is yung Microsoft 365. If familiar kayo, parang ano na siya. Ito yung latest na pwede kang mag-collaborate with other team or yung cross-functional nyo within your organization. And then on this one, ito yung mga example ng cloud na I believe na medyo familiar naman tayo. Ito yung eBay, yung Yahoo, Gmail, Pinterest, LinkedIn, YouTube, Netflix. Yan po. And then advantage. Advantage of using cloud computing, of course, lower yung computer costs, improve performance, reduce software costs, instant software updates, improve documents format compatibility, unlimited storage capacity, increased data reliability, universal document access, and then yung latest version availability, easier group collaboration, and device independence. For the disadvantage naman for using cloud computing, it requires a constant internet connection. Of course, hindi ka naman makaka-connect. I mean, it needs ng internet connection. And then does not work well with low speed connection, and then features might be limited. Since pioneering pa lang din yung cloud computing, so on process pa lang din yung pag-ayos na environment, it depends sa magiging convenience ng paggamit ng users. And then features might be limited, can be slow, stored data can be lost. Sometimes if na-experience nyo na, kunyari may sinave ka, tapos naging corrupted siya, parang it's hard to recover the file unless na ulitin mo na lang ulit. Yung parang worst case scenarios, kailangan mo na lang ulitin yung ginawa mong ginagawa mong file or documents. And then stored data might not be secure. So ito na, sometimes yun nga, yung gumagamit ng mga public connection, yung walang additional layer for security like the VPN, yung hindi connected. Yung parang additional wall para hindi ma-access easily ni hacker yung mga data sa computer mo or sa cellphone mo. And then cloud storage, ito lang po yung how to set up, create an account and user and password, content lives with the account in the cloud, log on any computer with Wi-Fi to find your content. Ganyan lang kadali mag-retrieve or tumingin ng data na sinave mo sa cloud storage. And ito lang din po yung step kung paano po mag-download sa computer mo or sa computer or desktop. And yun lang po. Thank you po.
Okay, so thank you very much, Madam. Again, the cloud is able to give the opportunity to Greek entrepreneurs and innovators to start up new ventures without investing a lot of money at upfront, no? Since everything they need to start can be available as online services through the cloud and sometimes free of charge in the beginning. Again, as what our presenter mentioned, no, cloud computing is able to lower the risk of entrepreneurship at a large level, a fact that has not only attracted a lot of entrepreneurs to form new companies, but also potential investors who invest their money on them. Okay, so in order to fully comprehend the importance of cloud computing and the potential benefits it may offer, stakeholders must have clear information about what exactly cloud computing is and precisely understand the technology that lies behind this term. So a while ago, our presenter discussed about the SaaS, PaaS, and so on. No? And again, cloud computing has the potential to offer several benefits to entrepreneurs, as I mentioned. However, leveraging this technology does not guarantee any success, and the battle is not finished with the use of new technologies. Entrepreneurs should use new technologies as a tool, embrace innovation and new ideas, try, fail, and come closer to success. So as what our presenter mentioned about the disadvantages and limitations, it was big enough to come up with secure, of course, your business, no, and of course to consider some benefits and impact of cloud computing in Greek startup companies or even in the Philippines, no, and entrepreneurship. It is also an advantage for you to read some journals, no, focus on more on expanding the research related to this cloud, no, the impact of the cloud. Although challenges and risks were, of course, were considered, and as the result, of course, these challenges and risks that are related to the term cloud more in depth in order to have an overall understanding and more comprehensive assessment of this technological paradigm. Okay, so I think that's it.